Wale, I'm warning you now. You can bleep out certain words.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
So that we can have it stay up on the channel. Yes, sir. Welcome to and welcome back to HBCU, the show, the podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Good Rising Good People, Bobby K, and my fellow co-host,
Asheem the Dream. You already know what it is.
So as you can see here, you know what I'm saying? No three-man weave, you know what I'm saying? It was 1-2 punch for this episode, for this confession. So we're going to get right into it. Now, I'm going to warn y'all now. Disclaimer, trigger warning. It's about to get a little dark. Okay? So that's your warning, all right? But we have to have these type of conversations and give advice to the people. So this anonymous confession, it comes from Spellman, and it reads, and I quote, I watch and masturbate to and I've somewhat become addicted to it. I know it should never be sexualized or normalized, but I don't know how to stop. I wonder if it's connected to the fact that I was sexually assaulted as a child. End quote. Hashim, sir.
Yep.
In hearing that in its entirety, what is your initial thoughts, comments, or concerns? Well, it's a lot of concerns, but what is your thoughts and comments?
I think they should find somebody to talk to. It doesn't have to be like that's not even being funny or anything. I really think
that's such I saw
your
generic
face.
Answer though.
Well, I never experienced it, so I can't really give a perspective on it. But I think you don't have to talk to a professional, but at least talk to somebody. But I feel like by watching it, and it's like ingrained, like it's like you reliving that moment over and over. You feel me? It's like that's how kinks come about, like something that happened in your childhood, or childhood or adolescent. And
is this really a kink though? I feel like this is not, because I feel like a kink is more so something that you're choosing to do, but this is more of like something that is like, it's like the person said, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but the person said it's an addiction. So this is something that they don't really have control over. I don't know if I would categorize this as a kink, because
I feel like all categories, not all categories, but again,
because pedophilia is not a kink.
No, it's not. I don't know. I'll have to look up a definition of kink, but I think it would fall under that category. If you're addicted, that one you could just say they're addicted to. But that's the category they go to. Like they could pick other stuff, you know. So that's I still think is still like reliving that moment to the point where it's like, oh yeah, this is kind of like what I enjoy now, because it's what I'm used to.
That's what you know.
First experience, you don't know otherwise, right? So even when not most likely, I don't know, but like I can imagine when they get to have a partner, if they don't have a partner, they will want to do that, you know, type like role play that.
I don't. Yeah, that's a good point.
If they keep if they're watching it, like there's so many people that have got assaulted and they're not watching that type of or if that person is and repeatedly and addicted to it, I can imagine that when they do find a partner, that's what they're gonna want or be turned on by.
It's almost like, it's kind of like they're trauma bonding with themselves, if you think about it. Because like, if you heard the term trauma bonding? Yeah, so it's almost kind of like they're doing it internally, because it's like you said, like you experience something that's so traumatic. Like probably the most traumatic thing, you go top 2 or 3 most traumatic things you could ever experience in life. And instead of detaching yourself from it and like kind of like blinking out, which a lot of people do who have been victims of something of that degree, they are doing something that I would say is even more harmful, which is seeing it over and over again. So you're replaying and having flashbacks, and we don't know how often this happened to them as a child. And one thing we've learned as adults, and I know we can definitely agree on this, and anyone who watches this, things that happen to you as a child, they wholeheartedly stick with you as you get older. Like it doesn't go away just because you become an adult. So especially something to that degree that's that intense and that like traumatic, I can only imagine like the feeling of trying to escape something like that, but feeling like you like it's almost like a drug, right? So like you know how it, like drug
addiction,
addict, right? Yeah, like a drug addict, like they don't want to have to keep taking it, but like it gets to a point that their body can only function if they are using the drug consistently because their body is adjusted to it, that's all they know. So if they don't use it for like a week or so, they're going to just bottom out, or they can have a whole episode, or just so many different bad things can happen. So it's similar to that where like they probably don't want to watch it at all because they know that it's immoral, it's messed up, all types of shit. But it's like they can't avoid it, and I feel bad, like not even in a pity way, but like in a genuine, like empathetic way, because like, how do you turn that off, and how do you explain to someone else that you have this issue? Because this isn't a normal like porn addiction. This is way more extensive than that.
Well, usually people that are addicted to something are unaware that they're addicted to something.
They are, at least. That's the
So
start.
at least being aware of it could lead to be like, all right, that's like the first step saying, all right, I probably need to like stop or minimize it or find a different outlet um to, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what type of advice to give in that situation besides what I already said. It's
It,
kind of
so is it? Because I'm trying to come up with something that's tangible to like try to actually find a solution to this. Because is it something that you can just be like, oh, like you should talk to a therapist about this, and or like a specific like sex therapist? Because there's different types. Or is it something that you should first like acknowledge to someone close to you, like a friend of yours or a family member? But also then, or the problem with that though is it could is not going to it 100% could come with judgment from people asking questions like, wait, so what happened to you as a child? Or wait, why do you watch that? And what, how long you been watching it? And is that something that you did before? So they're naturally going to be defensive if they tell it to someone that knows them and that has been around them for like years of their entire life.
well, that's why there are the therapists or professionals that talk like you could talk to them about because they're looking from an objective point of view. That's their job.
Mm.
It's a doctor. Like you go to a doctor's office, there are doctors. But if you go to like a medical doctor's office and you have some like STD or whatnot, they can't judge you, bro. They have to
I mean,
give
they
you
can, but
whatever.
they
I
can't
mean, yeah,
show
they're
it.
not. Yeah, that they have to be professional.
Right,
Um,
exactly. They could
so
lose their
that
license.
you could go to professional for that situation, and you're not gonna be judged, at least not to your face. Actually, they can't. They really can't. Um,
Mm.
because breaking the law. But
HIPAA, yeah, HIPAA
that's yeah.
violation.
So it's. I'd say do that rather than talk to somebody close because talking to somebody close that isn't well versed in that category or
Mhm.
field, and they're gonna try to give you solutions where sometimes this is just not a solution. It's something that you have to work through, um, and be, you know, it's sometimes just not a solution that you could be like, oh yeah, you just do this and you'll be all right. Just take Terraflu and you be Gucci.
Take Theraflu.
Uh,
There's no Theraflu for this, brother.
yeah, it's something that you would have to continuously work on consciously.
Hmm.
Uh yeah. So
And
I
unfortunately, too, like certainly family and friends, like you tell this type of thing to, as this like personal and this depth, like they might not, like you said, they might not know how to help you, and then on top of that, like they might not have experienced it, so the empathetic and the understanding of like the weight of it's a weight of this type of magnitude. You know what I'm saying? This is something that's on your shoulder constantly that you can't escape. They might not understand that fully, so they might just say, "Well, just stop watching, or just do this," and just come up with something that they think is simple, but it's really not, because it's if it was that simple, they wouldn't be doing it in the first place. It definitely wouldn't be admitting it in a confession. So it's I would tell the person, like you said, like I would, it's not something that can happen cold turkey, but you definitely have to start off with like trying to see someone to slowly but surely like have a conversation. Just start off with a conversation, and through that you can unpack fully like why you feel the need to do it in the first place. Because that person's gonna have to tap into what happened to them as a child and build from that and rebuild from that in order for them to get to present day where they can no longer be doing what they're doing now with their addiction. Because you can't undo the addiction part if you don't unpack the childhood part, because that's the real stem and the root of why the person is doing what they're doing now. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I you have to have a conversation. You have to start going to, or I would suggest, not telling you, I would suggest whoever's been through this type of situation, to seek a medical professional who has a license in this, like Hashim said, who can session by session give you an understanding or allow you to talk about what happened to you as a child, not just in this but in general, so that they could do an overall scope of your psychological measurement and just like your mental state, emotional state. So then when you get to the point of present day or however long you've been doing this addiction, it can be easier to say, okay, well, why are you holding on to it so much now, even as an adult? You know what I'm saying? So it's really a slow burn, honestly, to me.
Yeah, I'll also say you can only do that when you're comfortable and
Yeah,
when you feel safe. Is
yeah,
don't look at like what the progress of somebody else is. It's not that type of thing is not for like, oh yeah, this person learned at this rate, and you should be good by this time. Nah, it's your own journey. Do it when you feel like it. Uh, it's really up to you.
I would also suggest too that I think that be, when you're getting like I don't know the term, but when you're getting a visual stimulation from something that's this graphic and this intense, first of all, the idea of just like searching this type of thing already is just like damn. But like um you can't just go cold turkey to like from watching this to then not watching anything. So another suggestion I would say is like continue to watch adult content, but just stray away from that content. Like watch some other categories or something so that you can still get some type of visual stimulation, but it's not that. It's not something that's traumatic. It's not something that you went through personally that is haunting you to this day. That is like not a kink or anything. Like it's just flat out a crime, a felony, just a moral thing. Stray away from that and pivot to something else that is a little bit less graphic, but still can give you that level of stimulation in the process of going through rebuilding yourself. I don't know if that made sense to you, but I feel like that would be the best way, because like even with drug addicts, like they don't go from smoking whatever meth or something to like nothing. Like they go from that to maybe weed or whatever, and then this and there, and then you know what I'm saying. It's a transitional period. So
Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to reach out to us, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or any polls that you want us to put up, let us know. We should have pretty interesting videos coming out in the future, as we discuss, me and Bobby, on the side of topics. And if you have any topics that you want us to delve into, just let us know.
yes, if you want to be a special guest, please DM us. Instagram is HBCU3. Our individual socials are there as well. You follow us on TikTok as well on the HBCU podcast. On that note, we out of here. Stay safe, be easy.